Anyway, what's up, y'all? This is Edward back with another video. When I say this is gonna be a quick, I know I'm lying, but I'm definitely gonna try to keep this under 30 minutes because I do want to do a stream later on the day. I'm doing to try some stuff out. Super Triz, if you hear me, I definitely want to get you on the panel. Don't worry, there's a reason why I kind of blew my face up like I did in the thumbnail. That's an inside I'll say joke for the person that knows who the fuck that is. So anyway, look, today's been an interesting day. A lot of stuff has happened online as well as offline. Not really, but kind of. Um, and anyway, we'll talk about it later on today. But real talk, because I know somebody asked me, "Yeah, man, you going downtown?" And I said, "Fuck that. I'm not getting that. No, no, I'm not. Y'all want to catch that shit, that COVID shit, if y'all want to. Cause y'all can't sit y'all ass in the fucking house. But I don't give a fuck. But anyway, let me get right down to it. So, even from early on today, shout out to Sub Zero. I'm assuming that's an accident. That shit being posted. But shout out to Sub Zero. I'm actually we're gonna revisit the 9 to 5 thing. And I personally don't give a damn about B Simone personally. But what I will say is I get tired of I haven't heard what Sub Zero had to say, but in the defense of the concept, I get tired of women or folks finding a new way to try to shit on a black man. I really do. I really do. So I'll talk more about that later. I'm not even gonna go into detail on that because y'all, some of the stuff I've already said, but we're gonna really go into the dynamics of that because all of that stuff a lot of times is sexual politicking. Like what B Simone did was sexual politicking. BGS actually went through that. Basically, the dudes that want her tend to have 9 to 5 jobs. Probably the dudes in her DMs and a lot of the entrepreneur-minded dudes are not really checking for B Simone like that. So what she has to do is she has to broadcast the fact that I don't want these dudes because in her mind this is going to attract the dudes that she wants. But the truth is, dudes that are entrepreneurs have a certain type of mentality and they have a certain type of women that they want. Vince is actually a perfect example of that. You look at how he looks and then you look at who he got with, and that tells you the mindset. So a motherfucker, it's not about just making the money. If you know you can go get the money, you're not settling for no chick that's not first class or 5 star. Sorry. And a lot of these women think they 5 star are not 5 star, and that just is what it is. B Simone is not an ugly woman, but the truth is, if you're comparing her to that NBA level of dudes that can actually get money, especially giving that she's a I don't even believe she got $3 million. But even if she is in that crowd and she's making a little bit of money, it doesn't matter how much money you make. Your looks are your looks, and any dude that really gets with you, they're getting with you as a come up. And those are not the dudes you really want to deal with anyway, because they will make sure they get what they came for, and that is what it is. I mean, you see women like Claudia Jordan. I mean, I can show many more attractive women that's come through the game and came out with jack shit. Many more women is far more beautiful than her. That's really where that is. And you can tell by how she goes about her comedy. She does the same shit Tiffany Haddish does, with the exception of Tiffany Haddish is better at it. And Tiffany Haddish is more attractive. Even though she's older, you see the game that Tiffany Haddish came out of. Same thing. If Common wouldn't be checked for, nobody really would. Not really. So at the end of the day, a lot of women think, I made it. So because I have this status and all of this, you're supposed to want me. And that's not the case. And it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, when we're talking about, see, here's the thing about this. People will try to focus on what other dudes do. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about the dudes you want, all the dudes that you don't want are eliminated. So now it's not a question about what dudes that you don't want care. It's just the dudes that you want care about. So at the end of the day, if people giving you, I mean, that is what it is. I've seen B Simone actually around some of the, make money stuff, a couple of the make money online stuff with some of the folks. I gotta show you a picture of his dude by the name of Pretty Ricky. He was in Pretty Ricky, and now he's doing like a lifestyle academy type shit, and he did a ad with her, which I can understand why he would have did that, but he don't really need her to do that. So it is what it is, but all the stuff about the 9 to 5 versus entrepreneur mindset when it comes to dating and relationships, and this has nothing to do with Sub Zero said, that's a smoke screen. That's a smoke screen, because the truth is, all you have to do is ask yourself, okay, what are you willing to sacrifice? If a dude came up to you and he's 5'5", a dude like JD, a dude like Big Boy, and his, not only does he's an entrepreneur, but he actually has some real shit, like, I mean, some shit status. Would you actually really desire him, or would you see him as a pole to get licked? And we know the answer to that question. So if women really wanted entrepreneurs, you see more black men trying to be it. Just like how women want dudes that are more beards. You see black men that want that. You see dudes that get, women want black men to have dreads. You see more get that. Unfortunately, in our community, the pussy tends to lead the man. And dudes tend to chase what after that. So if you ain't really caring about being an entrepreneur, or at the very least selling themselves to be entrepreneurs, then the reality of the situation is that's because that's not what these dudes are really interpreting they want. Now, do they want D-boys? Yeah, they tend to. And a lot of D-boys ain't really making money like that. The mindset bullshit, well, that's just code for he's got potential, which is code for he looks good. He passes the sexual marketplace value. So therefore, I'm going to pretend, I'm going to lie to myself so I can deal with him and still be in alignment with what I want. Just like women that they try to say, oh, well, I've never had vaginal sex. I've just had anal sex, so therefore I'm a virgin. Just like women that try to do this, the same game that gets played. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because if they end up like Vivica Fox, or like that heartbreaking like shit show that was with Kevin Samuels, that interview, or that little call that Kevin Samuels had with that 55-year-old chick, that is what it is. That's between them and Darwinism. Not them and God, them and Darwinism. Now, as far as some of the earlier stuff with Obsidian, Bernard, I got to go back and look through all that so I can speak intelligently about it. But one of the things that struck out to me with Obsidian was when he said, I'm a businessman first. And I can respect that. But at the same time, a lot of times with black folks is we tend to have a very narrow minded view about how to go about economics. And so we tend to go the path that's like straightforward rather than truly like designing something. So I'm gonna speak on that. But it's just interesting because a lot of these things, people like to make things, more complicated than what it is. And even though I go into a lot of detail on things a lot of times, at the end of the day, I've never had Boost Mobile. Right now I have AT&T. And before I had AT&T, I had Spectrum, which was a piece of shit. And before I had Spectrum, I had the main I had AT&T, like the, not the prepaid. And I had that for years. I've never had Boost Mobile. By the way, Boost Mobile is owned by Dish Network now. They recently did a $1 billion deal to get Boost Mobile, which is interesting because now Sprint and T-Mobile are merged. So now all of the nigga carriers are the same. So that's interesting. But anyway, when you look at most of the reason why I do this, because I'm outside my house, because I like to get some fresh air. I'm talking to y'all. So it's with the Wi-Fi. That's usually when that's going to do that. So and now I got my Wi-Fi moved I had a drill going there and the Wi-Fi moved. So it's a bigger bubble. Plus this phone can be stupid when I'm on StreamYard versus doing a YouTube thing on my own. But so yeah, if y'all want to hop on a panel, hop on. Like, I'm gonna be a little bit selective who I bring on. So please don't take it personal. I will try to get everybody on, but what I don't want is a whole bunch of folks on. I want to try to keep it 5, 6 people that I can move the conversation. I will minimize how much I'm talking because obviously I want to give people that are panelists the time to actually speak because I can always do this. Anyway, like I said before, at the end of the day, I know people making fun of me for saying that, but for real, what it comes down to is, folks, you can't criticize people for doing shit that you're doing. That's my thing. Here's the thing. You should never criticize somebody for a tactic that you are willing to do. And the thing about it is look, I perfectly understand. Bernard, shout out to Bernard's show. Bernard doesn't like the shit show shit. I can respect that. I know Obsidian Obsidian doesn't have to be on Bernard's shit. Obsidian has a lot of traction, a lot of cachet compared to somebody like Bernard. So, as far as in this space. So I understand the value of that. And I understand if Obsidian's doing that, then it makes perfect sense that he's going to want to, you know, Solo was kind of just had the same mentality when it was going on MT stuff. He wants to be able to talk and not so much control a conversation, but be able to talk and be able to have that room. And if people want to come on there and add to the conversation, they can. So I understand that. I don't really consider that petty or anything like that. I get that because why else would you come? Why else would you come on there on this show? I mean, I don't care about what arrangement they have, what it's about. I just know, a big part of what makes Bernard's shows what it is part of um um Obsidian there, and on that Black Love Industry stuff in particular, that is some stuff that's Bernard and Obsidian. That's kind of like a little show, like a show that they're doing. I say little because I'm talking about it's more of a series. I don't think it's an official show, more like in a series. So I can understand that, I can respect that. So I have no problem with panelists. People saying they don't want to, they don't want a panel or the topics is going to control it. People have every right to do that, and people are going to be mad. They're going to be mad. That's why at the beginning of that part, I was kind of defending a lot of stuff Obsidian was saying, but it flipped to where, okay, you want to say SKC. Okay, SKC is not somebody that's going to get loud. Kevin's obviously not somebody that's going to get loud. Alan Roger Curry, for the most part, is not somebody that's going to really get loud unless you hit his trigger points as far as say something that he'll say is inaccurate or his book or whatever, or say something he didn't say, stuff like that. But for the most part, he's not going to get loud. I mean, generally, he don't get loud with Obsidian like that. Not now. So, and then Angry Man comes along, and understand that when you look at where he's at in this space and what the views that he can generate, it's kind of like a rock and a hard place. On one end, you want to be loyal and solid dude to somebody that's been there, but on the other hand, that's an opportunity. And the thing about Angry Man a lot of times is, and I know some of you bitch ass niggas, oh, you said Angry Man's name, you're gonna timestamp it and send it to him. I don't give a fuck. I say what I say, and that is what it is, and I stand by what I say. You have to. He can open. It can be the opening for like the a misunderstanding, so to speak. And it's not so much you got to be careful, but it's just like And to be fair, like for instance, he was on Kuda's stuff. I tried to, tell folks to shut up because at the end of the day, we were already talking. We'd already had all this time to talk. He came up, and I didn't know if he had been on Kuda's stuff or not. But I saw he was on Kuda's stuff the next day, so it wasn't a big deal. He dropped. But my point is, he dropped X amount of dollars, like 2 super chats. I'm not gonna say what it is because it's a matter. But the point he does that, he wants to get in. He wants to be heard. Obviously, that's an asset to the channel. That's bringing another person on his channel. And the way Obsidian handled it, that's petty, dude. That's some petty shit. Especially considering that, like, Obsidian, real talk, you have been late to people's shit at times. Oh shit, I know. And this brief intermission, and it don't matter. And you already know. And it's like, why? And this is the type of shit that's like, you gotta remember, Obsidian likes that controversial shit. He likes to fight. He likes a good fight. It's kind of like fucking, that Republican, let's go to war bullshit. But you didn't have to do all that. You really didn't. And the thing about it is, what that really served is a lot of the folks that I was I was in the chat really on his side. But once you start doing that, folks started to see in real time what you're willing to do. And it's kind of like, okay, you say you will critique these people on the Black Love Industry, but you're willing to kind of low key do the same thing. You want to try to control, and you want to be like, okay, I'll have a debate, and we'll have a debate on Prophet of Thought to Xavier shit. Where it's you talk, I talk, you talk, I talk. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But at the same time, if you really saying some solid shit, it really shouldn't even matter the angle you're going at. It shouldn't matter if somebody says, yeah, your name, because it all comes back to kind of the same through line. And so it kind of was demonstrated on that video, kind of what folks were talking about in real time. You got somebody like, Angry Man that's got kids, that's, been through the ringer, I'll say, he can empathize with like the shit 50 Cent that had to deal with and still trying to make something happen. Um, and it's kind of like, for you to say like his opinion don't matter when like he's got just as much cachet. Many people would say more than you do in the manosphere if it really comes down to it. That's debatable, but it is what it is. Um, that's even like you putting Bernard in that situation is not really cool, and it's just kind of like even it is what it is. I don't care, maybe it ended, but it is what it is, and it's like for what to say, and also the way you represent like different factions of black men, some of it's accurate, but some of it isn't accurate. Some of it isn't 100% on point. Like you like to put people in the boxes to serve your narrative, not just these are the boxes and these are just the boxes. You always, and it's not really that, you do it blatantly. You take a little bit off the top. You got to be like a forensic accountant about it to really see it. You got to be one of them sticklers to really see it. Like other than that, most people it'll gloss by unless you do it over and over and over again, or unless you make a complete shift, which I don't even think Obsidian's made a shift. I just think he's angling it a certain way to where it can appeal to an audience. And if you want to be fair to that, look at Kevin. Look at Kevin. Kevin has like 2.4. I've seen 2,000 consistently shows. These are later on at night. These are dudes, but these are probably more women. I mean, look at that. And that's gonna grow. And don't let YouTube see that shit. And Lord knows, see, it's a lot of women watching that shit. And they know how women are in the sphere. I get that. And if you were to say, okay, Kevin's gonna be more the not really the good guy, but more the reasonable guy, versus Obsidian will be more of the dude that hits you with the hard. I could understand why you want to angle that. Then I could completely understand that from a business perspective. That makes sense. I get that, especially when you look at what his kind of mission is. It makes perfect sense. It's just don't act like folks don't see what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. And this thing about, some of the, like 80% of the stuff you saying is on point, but it's like 20% where it's kind of like you angling it in a certain way where it's not on point. And some people will say that's just being a stickler about it, but it's important to represent the stuff. And it's just like with the Phyllis Schlafly shit. Well, we make it seem like Phyllis Schlafly was like on the side of men. No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't. It's like shit like that people forgot. And then folks be really, anyway, that is what that is. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of like one of those things where it's like it didn't have to be what it ended up being. It really didn't. It really didn't. Because here's what I'm in. Okay, it's 18 minutes, so I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go through y'all stuff so I keep this at 30. Because here's the truth. The truth is, and this is just overall with everything I've said. The absolute truth is, folks love to play the game of, what we need to do as a community, and we need to get businesses, and we need to get all that. Let's be absolutely fucking clear. The truth is, a big reason why the community is what it is because a lot of men have checked out. And now what's happening is more men are checking the fuck out. Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people want to say about people getting married and all this bullshit. People are doing that shit because they got to. So meaning people are tolerating each other. And now you're dealing with a different type of female where as soon as the coast gets clear, you're going to start seeing divorces and shit like that happen all over again. And them niggas, they knew the shit and decided to still do the same shit, that's on them. I don't even blame the women at that point because you knew what you were dealing with. But the truth is, dudes are checking the fuck out. And now you're starting to see people check the fuck out at the door. And here's the thing. I don't care if they are or aren't. That's what I'm seeing. It doesn't, what happens, well, dudes are getting married, so that's fucked up. Dudes are going back to the table. I really don't care. But at the end of the day, a lot of deception of the shit is over. It really is. So at the end of the day, when people keep talking about this, what black people need to do, the truth is most black people, black men included, are not willing to do what actually needs to be done. They like to talk to it and pay lip service to it. They may even do shit. But at the end of the day, you have people. I know I've said that like 3 times, but you have people that have they are trying to change, to try to improve shit, but they don't want to change shit. And what you need is change. They want to try to fix stuff within the same confines of what it is, and what it is fundamentally does not work. So when we talk about things like 9 to 5 versus not, can an entrepreneur woman be led by a 9 to 5? I mean, truth be told, I've seen that. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen dudes that are mortgage brokers and stuff like that have women that they do their own shit. There's different degrees to what you would consider 9 to 5. I mean, or 9 to 5, and same thing when it even comes to entrepreneurship. A lot of black, like a lot of black folks, especially black women, like to gas themselves on that shit and say that they're entrepreneurs. They're not doing shit. Like, let's keep it real. They're not doing nothing more complicated than doing hair. And they try to make that seem, because even like, shout out to Rich Dad Poor Dad. When you look at business, there's 4 quadrants in the economy. You have you have employee, you have the sole proprietor, which is no different than employee, but you own your job. So as far as I'm concerned, any folks that are trying to say they're an entrepreneur, but they're in that quadrant, they can kind of kindly shut the fuck up. Not to say that they're not making no money, but it ain't what they doing ain't complicated. Then you got the actual business folks that are more industrious when it comes to business. They're actually creating business systems that you might have a little bit of an argument, but that's assuming that stuff pops. And then you have investors, which investors, and most women are not in the investor category anyway. So let's stop playing. Most black women are in the sole proprietorship category, truth be told. So it's just another way to say I'm a 92 and then I'm better than other men, which, hey, they have every right to say that, but then stop saying ain't no men on my level. It's not no there's no men on your level. It's that your shit can't cash your standards. You're writing standard checks that your beauty can't cash. And it's nobody's problem. Remember, I talked about that pretty girl privilege shit the other day. And then what people will do is they'll try to gloss that over with oh, but pro-black. No, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. To hell with that shit. At the end of the day, the dudes that actually achieve what needs to be achieved, they earn the right to do what the fuck they want. Fuck anybody and fuck anything when it comes to people using pro-black. Because the truth is, if somebody wants to talk about being pro-black, the first thing I'm thinking about is what you're willing to sacrifice for it. And if the only thing you're willing to do is talk about that from a terms of sexual politicking, then I don't want to even hear it, because it's on some bullshit from the jump. So anyway, we're at 23 minutes, so that got 7 minutes for me to keep it under 30. Well, keep wisdom. I mean, I get it. She's excited. Look, I can empathize. B. Simone's excited. She got a check. She got a little check. Not a little check. She got $1 million check, which, Uncle Sam gonna get his piece. And she think a man comes with it. Sorry, a man doesn't come with your check. You should have read the fine print. Just because you got $1 million, do you really believe that men are really saying, oh, I don't want to fuck a broke bitch that's cute? Like, think about it. But see, that's the mindset. That's a mindset of a dude. And so all that is a smokescreen to talk about, well, I want an entrepreneur-minded person. Of course, if you want that, go get that. That's no different than a woman saying, I want a Christian man. Nobody cares about that. Nobody gives a shit. But let's stop acting like, if a JD or somebody else came around, that you're going to see B. Simone with somebody like a younger version of that. Let's stop. So let's stop acting like entrepreneurship is like the guiding criteria that she's talking about. It's not. So end of at that point. So what happens is all these level up chicks come back and they like to say, okay, well, we want an entrepreneur. Everybody knows what they're talking about when they say that. They want a baller. They don't want an upcoming. When they tell you they want upcoming entrepreneurs, they're liars. The only difference is if them niggas look good, that's it. And that's not because they're upcoming entrepreneurs. That's because they look good. Sup, Captain Cisco. He is shorter than 5'5". I think Dante Wilder or Adrian Broner is on 5'6". But it ain't even about that. Like, that's not even about it. The only reason why I even bring that shit up is because you have to understand that at the end of the day, these women are basically saying they want a certain type of dude. They basically it's like saying, I want to play in the NBA. Even if there's other leagues where I can make good money, I want to play in the NBA. And that's true, but that's nobody's problem. You don't get to say that and then try to use colorism as like some kind of ism because you can't get what you want. Well, I mean, here's the truth about 9 to 5 stuff. Most black men are doing a variety of different things. We don't get the privilege of having a cookie cutter job that we can depend on. But like people want to talk about the United States or men in general. Black men are always going through some turmoil shit. So this idea that black men are doing some cookie cutter 9 to 5 shit, even motherfuckers that's in tech, most people they'll talk about different industrious ways of doing it. It's not, because here's the truth. The truth is, a lot of these women saying that if they can get away, this is what becomes bullshit. Crystal and Harrison, all these swirler bitches, none of the motherfuckers they with are 9 to 5s. None of them. A lot of these black females, Garcelle Beauvoir, Stacey Dash, when they go down, they deal with these brats. None of these brats are hustling like that. Serena Williams is an exception. The baby mama of Neo is an exception. And it ain't like she industrious, she lucked up. Same thing with Eve, lucked up. And that's not even what she was necessarily looking for. This fucking idea that they're looking for 9 to 5. Well, where the fuck has that been? Where the fuck has this conversation been 5-6 years ago? Remember, four years ago, these same chicks were talking about they fuck D-boys like it wasn't nothing. So don't ever forget that. See, people want to act like now, oh, we're on the level up train now. We're on the entrepreneur train. Well, bitch, where you been? Where were you when you were in your 20s? What the fuck were you on? What the fuck were you on when you were 25, 26? You don't get to fucking be 30 plus, especially if you ain't really on some real shit. Because truth be told, most females, and I know women, and I'm not even talking about Erica, I know women that they can talk circles business-wise around most black men. And I can tell you, I know those same women, the dudes they dealing with, they may have a couple of other things going on, but they have 9 to 5s. Not because and if they do, the only exception to this rule is if they're doing something that's in a similar industry. So if they get money on church shit, they get money on network marketing shit. If they're doing similar shit, they may be doing that. Even Shauna Etienne, Butterfly Shauna will tell you that. So this idea that they're doing the same thing, but outside of that, that's not necessarily what it is. And I'm not defending 9 to 5s and saying dudes should work 9 to 5. What I'm saying is, let's stop trying to pretend that black women are making criteria based on shit that they're not making criteria based just because they pay lip service to it. Let's stop lying. Let's stop playing this game. Because at the end of the day, it spins nowhere. And the truth be told, when people talk about, oh, well, you're talking about the black women, black men. I'm gonna keep it real with you. If I were really to say, okay, here's the beginning, middle, and end of it. Here's my thing. I think personally, that black men should completely drain the black community. Black men need to say, look, this is our standard. You either meet it, you don't. The women that meet it are the women that's going to get picked. The ones that don't will be replaced. What about the black community? What about it? Do you want a community? Because if you want it more than I do, then it's going to be a problem. And if you look at every other race, white people aren't even an exception. Answer me this. Who do you think who do you think values white supremacy more? Do you think white women value it more, or do you think white men value it more? Technically, your women are supposed to value the community a little bit more than the men do, because they get the most benefits from a community with less work. So when it's flipped in the black community where your women value it less, and then your men, that's a problem. And the truth is, it's only work because dudes are going on like inertia. What they're doing is they're going on psychological inertia, operating on shit that's being passed down. Remember, that's that guilt, that's that fucking ego. But when you remove that and you actually see it for what it really is, I'm not saying that dudes are just running to Becky, but dudes are taking it on a case-by-case basis. When I approach black women, I don't, oh, that's just a feminist and this and this. No, I take a black woman on a case-by-case basis. They don't get all these extra points because they're black, but I don't negative them out either. So how you act is how I treat you. If you act like you just like another one of these chicks, then you get treated like that. You get treated like that. It is what it is. It's not complicated. It's really not. At the end of the day, shout out to Ty City. Take somebody like Ty City. I think Ty City got a kid. He's got a biracial kid. He's got a kid with a black woman. Don't mean it just is what it is. Dudes are going to take people with case by case basis, and folks are not going to be given deference. Because at the end of the day, the community doesn't belong to us anyway. So why should we contribute to it? That's really that's the beginning, the middle, and end. It's pretty much, and that's what Super Triz was talking about, by the way. Super Triz was saying straight up, you do what's in your best interest. Take race out of it. And if the folks that want to claim that they're pro-black, if they care about the preservation of the race, then they'll do what's necessary in order to bring folks back to the table. Meaning they'll fix what needs to be fixed outside of just paying lip service and shaming people. Because as they start seeing it really drain, and you'll see this in 10 years with the millennials, the fear is going to kick in, and they're really going to start bringing people to the table. I mean, you see that Oklahoma shit that passed with the Indians. Like, you've seen what America's done. It's amazing what people can do when they actually get off their ass and do it. It's amazing how fast people can move when they actually do it and they stop paying lip service to it. So it's amazing how the impossible becomes possible. But what happens is you still got black men that are operating on guilt, where they keep on saying, even 50 Cent said that he feels like he has to defend himself. I'm like, dude, like, you shouldn't, because the reality is, at the end of the day, if you really understand and come to an understanding as to why you do what you do, it shouldn't even matter. But the problem with dudes like 50 is, in that sense, is if you ask 50 honestly why he is attracted to this, attracted to that, he really can't tell you outside of the basic shallow shit. 50 is not going to have a conversation about the gynocracy and the different things he has. And you've even heard low-key Tariq Nasheed talk about that. That's why Tariq Nasheed said, if you're going to get a mixed chick, get one with a black man and a non-black woman. Don't get one with a non-black man and a black woman. Because these dudes see it, they just push it back because they feel like those thoughts are harming women. And that's that ego. That's that guilt shit. He even, as much as he's been through, he even said that. He said, because I'm guilty, so I feel like I'm on the defensive, so I got to defend shit. Ghost was the same thing. Whatever dude that plays Ghost, same thing. We had to write this long post defending his wife. He's like, my wife was with me when I had nothing. Fuck you. He can't say that because his money comes from them. But at the end of the day, I don't know. He's kind of rocking a hard place, but 50's not. Corey Holcomb has talked about this stuff. I'm saying it. It's just dudes don't want to really say it because it's like they feel like they talking shit about their mama. All right, so we're at 34. No, they won't, because they've already kind of low-key gone after Jason. That's why he has a Patreon. And his business is definitely worth the Patreon. But that, I'm going to tell you, that's something I'm going to talk about too. Is that Karen, that Becky's to Karen's, getting off a black woman for a second, that Becky's to Karen's is great. Because, again, there is no one-size-fits-all solution for black men. I'm sorry. A lot of dudes are looking for this one side. They look at marriage, one size fits all solution. They look at pumping up, one size fits all solution. They look at going overseas, one size fits all. There is no one size fits all. It depends on where you are, where you're at, what you're trying to do. I'm sorry, there is no one size fits all. And that's the truth. And the truth is, if anybody tries to present something to you as a one size fits all, most of the time they're fucking bullshit. Even when you look at black men and we talk about black men and entrepreneurship, let's keep it all the way 100. We know why black men don't want to be entrepreneurs. Black men don't want to be entrepreneurs because black men are taught to value pussy and be afraid of money. Black men are taught to compete with each other and not compete with other racial groups outside of athletics. Who teaches them that? You already know the answer. I need not say it. But see, what people like to do is people like to dance around that. What they'll do is they'll just say, okay, that doesn't matter. It does matter, because the truth is, it's not like we have a military where we could just put people through this brainwashing program and then change them back to what we need to do. We don't have that capability. We don't have that kind of focus energy to do that. So it does matter. You have to deal with these people at the beginning. And you cannot fix people with broken mindsets, not at the law of averages. So this thing about like black, and let's keep it real, black men are not entrepreneurs because black women don't sexually validate black men are necessarily entrepreneurs. That's not, because if that was what it was, you would see dudes that do it. And that's not blaming the black women, they're just saying what it is. So when we talk about this 9-to-5 shaming shit, that's also the same reason why a lot of dudes that have 9-to-5s don't want to pay you your full price on shit. I'm talking about any black person that's a business owner. Like, it's not helpful having this black business owner class versus black, consumer or job class is not fruitful. And one of the things that I did pull Zero's thing is I may agree with a lot of what he's talking about, but that mentality is not going to help, because you need your black business consumers a hell of a lot more than they need you as black business. Because all this shit about black empowerment, that shit is long-term shit that comes back around later. But you need to make money today. And so a lot of those folks are always going to end up winning. So when you look at whether it's black men or black women, a lot of times they have that crab in a barrel and they say, fuck you. And somebody talking down to them ain't going to necessarily matter. It's only going to exacerbate that. So when, like, for instance, when you got dudes that sit here, and this ain't Sub-Zero, because Sub-Zero is very successful what he does. But you got dudes that they'll be having failing businesses, brick and mortars. I'm talking before COVID. And they'll say, my business is failing because black people don't support it. Well, you a fucking fool to make your business black people anyway, number one. And number two, a lot of these dudes marketing this garbage. They don't even know how to market to black people. So what happens is they start blaming black people. And so I've seen that before. And you got to be careful of having that like shame shit. Now, B. Simone, that's a completely different situation. B. Simone is just a typical chick that thinks her money is supposed to make up for her beauty. And it doesn't. That's end of. It goes nowhere about that. That bullshit about the mindset as far as of an entrepreneur, fuck that shit. Come on. Nicki Minaj is with who she's with. Keisha Cole is with that young dude. Let's stop it. Stop that shit. That's dumb. If we're going to advocate for them, that's stupid. Because they ain't never been like that. All that shit is social status and what they girls think and bullshit. That mindset shit ain't never mattered. This idea that black men are just incapable of understanding the entrepreneurship of a woman is a lie. That's not true. Black men are probably the most understanding men of any men in the United States. So if anybody can actually play a role and win with it, hell, Safari is a perfect example of that shit. Safari is the perfect, example of that shit. Dude, like, come on now. Like, if you really look at it, show me some relationships that actually failed because of that. I'll show you relationships that failed of dudes that were business-minded dudes that got with women and then it didn't work out. Oh, I can show you that because those dudes were alphas and they were having to compete with another alpha. No, we not. I'm about to end it right now. Yep, integration, they did eliminate it. Not really, B. That's not true. You say dudes even voting Republicans, a one size fits all. That's actually not true. Because at the end of the day, there's a greater strategy to that. There's a greater strategy. The question you must ask is, what is the purpose by which you're doing that? That's what you have to ask. And plus, you have to vote in a collective block to have an effect. Nobody's saying, well, vote Republican forever. Now, people do vote Democrat forever, it seems like. So, no, that's not the same thing. And like I said, a lot of y'all are afraid of Donald Trump, and that's why y'all don't even care. Y'all don't care about what the Democrats do. Y'all just care that y'all don't like Donald Trump, and they use that because before it was Trump, it was Bush. It's always somebody. Now, really look back and tell me that George W. Bush was really. I got a question for all y'all that don't like Trump. Really look back and tell me that George W. Bush was that bad. Now, I voted for John Kerry. That was the first time I was a vote. But my business mentors, like two of them, black men, they voted for Bush. Really? Can you honestly go back and tell me that he was that bad? But I want y'all to really think about that. Can you honestly tell me? I remember I was 18 in 2004. I get it. But can you honestly tell me that the 2000s was that bad compared to like Donald Trump? Honestly. As black men, as black people. And that should tell you everything you need to know. It's always, but remember how they used to jump on George W. Bush. Like he was the worst thing alive. The worst thing alive. That's what people, that's what I want y'all really to understand. And I remember, and by the way, I remember how the Republican Party what was back then. You compare how the Republican Party was when Obama was elected. Shit wasn't that serious. And remember the 90s with Newt Gingrich, they thought the Republican Party was insane. Again, I'm not telling y'all to do nothing. But what I'm saying is you have to look at things and really put everything in its proper thing. And some people say I'm over analytical. That might be true, and that's actually something I'm working on. This is why I like, dudes like Jeffrey Combs and stuff like that, because they help like merge that. I just got a book called The Anger Factor that I'm about to pick up and read. I actually just bought like some other courses and stuff. But all right, 42. But at the end of the day, um, people like to simplify shit, and they well, this don't work, this don't work. I mean, like, come on, man. Or people want to say, oh, well, black men. Yes, there are black men that they want shit to be how it is because they benefit. But there's actually a couple of different versions of those. You got dudes that want to keep the black community the same because they're just too cowardly to actually stand up to their own fucking women. That's really what I don't give a fuck about what you say. That's really what it comes down to. You can sit there and talk. You can sit there and talk about what black men need to do. It's just more comfortable saying what black men need to do than actually checking motherfuckers, real checking it. Let alone like not just talking to it. This is talking about, okay, anything that supports them is anti-me. And basically, I'm going to take with that in kind. But no, you hate, you're this, you're too red pill, you're blah, blah. It's not about being too red pill. It's about understanding what needs to happen. And the big reason why you see people talking about it all the time, because if people stop talking about it, dudes are just going to just do what they're already low-key doing. Do black men have no problems being cucks for black women and actually being happy about it? It's very obvious when you think about it. And at the end of the day, that's why you'll start to see going forward, if black men willingly, knowingly put themselves in a situation, they deserve to get fucked. They like, seriously. This is why sometimes when these situations come up, I say, I don't care. At the end of the day, if that woman was very transparent to the point where, like, about who she was and you still dealt with it, then you deserve to get part of the game. Because you should have knew better. That's what you get for not having self-discipline. Well, yeah, and I don't like Trump, but it's not about Trump, and that's what people don't understand. It's not about him. He's just a figurehead. Like, people make it like, oh, if I get Trump out of there, everything magically changes. That's not true. COVID's still gonna be here. Anyway, I'm gonna kill it at 45. So at least I told half the truth. Hold on. A lot of y'all dropped some money. Shout out to the super chat for Michael Green. Book of Rhymes, much appreciated. Roger Report, much appreciated. Yep, you right. Roger Report. B Simone is 30. If she wanted a productive man, she would have one. And B Simone is not. Shout out Dollar Washer. If I'm not what you want, then why are you here? Exactly. Shout out to Trick Lessons Podcast. He said, is a chalk eater. If you eat the chalk, you take them. Trick Lessons, you gotta leave BJS alone. But other than that, you cool. You cool. What's up, Osama Abdu Ed? How much you reading do you do on a monthly basis? Not as much as I should. I got an audio podcast, so really I do probably a book every 2 months. And I got a backlog. But honestly, reading will keep you sharp. So really what I do is I speed up audio. I really need to get to the point where I'm reading at least a book every 2 weeks. Anyway, man, I appreciate y'all. So look out for what we doing later on today. This will be interesting. So this is Edward signing off. Peace.